22 million black victims of Americanism are waking up, and they're gaining a new political consciousness, becoming politically mature. And as they develop this political maturity, they're able to see the recent trends in these political elections. Any minority that has a block of votes that stick together is in a strategic position. Either way you go, that's who gets it. You're in a position to determine who go to the White House and who stay in the doghouse. You're the one who has that power. You and I have never seen democracy. All we've seen is hypocrisy. When we open our eyes today and look around America, we see America not through the eyes of someone who has enjoyed the fruits of Americanism. We see America through the eyes of someone who has been the victim of Americanism. We don't see any American dream. We've experienced only the American nightmare. We haven't benefited from America's democracy. We've only suffered from America's hypocrisy. And the generation that's coming up now can see it and are not afraid to say it. 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 And are not afraid to say it.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. You are listening to Black Westchester Magazine presents People Before Politics Radio every Sunday 6 to 8 on InTheMixRadio.com. I am your host, A.J. Woodson, and Damon K. Jones is still on hiatus. But we got the lovely Lorraine Lopez in the house.
The lovely.
And my man Ricky Maxwell in the place.
Hello. Check it in.
So, before I go on, I just want to say a couple of things. Like, we were off last week. Mm-hmm. And last weekend, Jay-Z dropped his album. 444.
Yes.
And shut down the world.
Yeah. Everybody.
Shut down.
Every community.
Like, it was.
Even Blue Ivy got him on it.
His mom is on there.
Oh,
his
no.
mom's talking. I listened to the whole thing today.
No.
So you had to get it straight from Tidal exclusively if you had Sprint for a couple of days, and then there's everybody on Tidal. Then it went through all the streaming services except Spotify. I'm not sure what his beef is with Spotify. But I just want to say, overall, some of the lyrics is okay. But overall, he upped the bar. And he's talking a lot of, like he got lines in there like, yo, what's more important than throwing out mad money at the strip club? Credit. You know what I'm saying? Like that was like, whoa. You know what I'm saying? He had a lot of joints in there like that where he was just dropping joint after joint after joint.
Schooling everybody.
Schooling. He's telling everybody to raise their game up.
Yes, sir.
And he shut it. Not only did he shut it down, you always know when there's an important piece of recording come out, an important piece of hip hop, when not only does the person drop it, then you see the advertisement everywhere, then you see the memes and quotes everywhere, but every artist got something to say. 50 Cent.
50 Cent said it was golf music?
Future didn't have something to say. Everybody. Young Buck's like, yo, dude, you know I was dropping my album that week. Can I eat? Why couldn't you drop it next week? You know what I'm saying? Everybody, he shut down the world. So big up to Jay. I just wanted to do that real quick. You know what I'm saying? Just
he definitely schooled everybody.
Yeah, because he definitely upped the game. So
he even responded for Becky with the nice hair.
Oh yeah. But I mean,
I'm a female. I know those parts.
Yeah. But he upped the game though. Like
he took it to a whole nother level.
Yeah. The reggae joint was hot. The OJ story is my joint. Like, yo.
Oh yeah, that one I heard.
He was like, I'm not black, I'm OJ. Okay. It was just like, yo. I was feeling that. That's that joint. I wanted to use that as my ringtone, but in mixed circles, the N-word comes up a lot of times. So just be like, but it's so dope because he's like, yo, whether you're a field, a house, you this or that, you still an N. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, a rich, poor, you still an N. You know what I'm saying? That's, I'm gonna put that. I'm gonna slip that on my ringtone. I gotta be in the right circles when I throw that on. Shout out to Peekskill City Councilman Andre Rainey, who's on the check-in, who's coming in, and he said, great album, especially during this day for hip hop. That's my man, and Rainey, he know a little something about hip hop.
Councilman Rainey,
he was involved in the music business a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Fellow Peekskill person here, Councilman Rainey.
Yeah. So I got to give him a shout out. So he know a little something about hip hop.
He's coming in today?
No,
I know he's here next week.
He's scheduled next week, but he commented though.
Oh,
I just want
all
to give him a shout out because he commented real quick. As always, I haven't put it on all the pages yet, but it's on my page. He said much love.
Yes.
It's on my page. The video we Facebook Live. And again, I just
Is it on
want to
People
say,
Before Politics?
I haven't shared it there yet.
Okay.
It has to be shared to that page and shared to y'all's pages. And I also wanted to reiterate, because I've been working all day and night. I took a week off. Shout out to my family. I was with people see the pictures.
I saw the picture.
With my dad, you know what I'm saying, holding it down. My main man, my dude. And then my stepmother was there. We was at my sister's house and her husband. And, it was just good to get out of, like, Westchester, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was like a little country air, like it was just chill, there was no drama.
I'll tell you, you
It
got to
was
come up to my
beautiful.
place.
Well, you still didn't send us no picture of the food.
Oh, yeah. What's
you
up
know?
with that?
I know you had the food grind up there.
I'm saying, so, it was just regular. But it was all good,
Yeah,
though.
just regular, I bet.
It was all good, though. But, so I took the time off, but I've been back, and I've been back with a vengeance, and right now, other than doing the show, I am tunnel vision. As Jay-Z said, I am focused. It is all about Black Westchester, the print edition, dropping August 1st.
Yes.
So I just want to say to anybody listening, Andre Rainey, all of my politicians out there, advertise.
We need ads, people. We need ads.
Hit us at advertisewithbw@gmail.com. I'll send you the rates. Get them pages. Get a full page. And add a little something in there for us. It's our 3rd anniversary. It's our 3-year anniversary. We're dropping the paper on our 3-year anniversary. The 3-year anniversary of the show and of Black Westchester. So, feel free to add that. Congratulate Black Westchester and their 3-year anniversary.
There you go.
But
Put
yeah,
out an ad congratulating.
But all of y'all have been hitting us for 3 years. Y'all need to have a print edition. Y'all need to come out and print. Now, we taking it there. We listening to the people, but we can't do it without you. So we need all of y'all that say y'all support us, man, take a little ad out. You know what I'm saying? Take a full page ad out if you got them dollars, whatever. But hold it down. Take an ad out now, get a discount, take an ad for the next 3 issues. You know what I'm saying? Just get a little discount. It got packages, everything. So anyway, that's important. Advertise with bw@gmail.com. You could always hit us. All the contact information on the site, blackwestchester.com. Hit contact. All my other contact information there. We'll send you the rates and all that. Cut off, trying to get all ads and payment in by the 18th so we can have it locked up. And then we just going to drop it. Main concentrations in Mount Vernon, Yonkers, New Rochelle, Greenburgh, White Plains, Peekskill, and then, it'll trickle out wherever else. But those are going to be the areas where you're going to see the hardest the hardest concentration, 60,000 copies out the gate, 24 pages, a free monthly. But, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot of monthlies out there, but they don't speak from our voice to us. Like FUBU, for us, by us, support Black business. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I just had to get that out there real quick. You know what I'm saying? Start off the show.
Make sure you write that down. Make sure you write yourself something to remember that you got to contact AJ. Get this stuff done, guys.
And we're looking for people that want to sell advertising. You want to sell advertising, because we need all the little businesses. I mean, the politicians, they all trying to make the ballot and the primary in September. So really want to get all y'all, but it's the businesses and the organizations that's going to hold us down throughout the year.
Yeah, the bodegas, the little shops.
So anybody who wants to who wants to sell advertising, we will give you 20% of what you bring in. You know what I mean? That's whatever you bring in, 20% of that is yours.
So you're looking for a job, you're looking to make some money.
And if you a hustler,
Hustler,
this is for
baby.
you. This is for you. if you somebody who want to sit down every day and just get a check, this ain't, you got to put the work in. But if you are a hustler like me, this is for you. You can make whatever you want to make by, as many ads you bring in, that's 20%. You know what I mean? So we're looking for that. We're looking for writers, of course, especially when the school start. We're looking for high school sports writers. So we always wanted to have a high school sports section, but we had a couple of people that were going to do it, but it never manifested. So we're looking for high school sports writers, to cover the basketball, at least the basketball and the football games, the different seasons, cover the different seasons, who's winning, who's hot, who's going to college, who everybody's looking at, you know what I'm saying, talk about the future stars. We're looking for somebody to cover that. Anybody, cover politics, of course, we do a little bit of that. Entertainment, business, spotlighting business. The different businesses throughout especially black businesses throughout Westchester. We want to spotlight, and we want to spotlight in every town. There's a dude, or there's a person, or there's an organization that has been holding it down for years. They don't get press. They don't do it for accolades. They didn't save mad kids' lives off the street.
That's
what
like
I'm saying?
that Hispano guy we was talking about.
These are the dudes we want to spotlight. These type of cats. You know what I'm saying? Give them their own little spotlight. Even though they're not doing it for that, we want to give them their props because outside of our community, they don't think people like this exist. You know what I'm saying? So we definitely want to spotlight them too. So we're looking for writers. We're looking for people to sell advertisement. We're looking for photographers. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Jonathan Newton of the National Association Against Police Brutality.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. So if you're interested, you think it's the advertising thing, if you think that should hit me. All the information is on the website or hit advertise with bw@gmail.com. So that's enough of that. You know what I mean? I just had to, that's the business. You got to get the business out. And there's also sponsorship opportunities for the show. There's the 3-year anniversary of the show coming up. Everybody come up here when they want to promote their little parties, their functions, their businesses, their organizations, they fundraisers, all that. There's also, you want to keep this kind of communication, this channel open for us to talk. There's sponsorship opportunities for this too.
When exactly is the anniversary? August, you said?
Well, we started the first Sunday in August. So it was in 2014. That was August 3rd. But so the first Sunday is actually the anniversary of People Before Politics. Even though I was working on the site,
we gotta bring in a cake.
Even though I was working on the site since like May when I first came up here, we really we didn't have an official launch, but it was about July 15th. This guy we identified as our anniversary for Black Westchester. And shout, I want to just get this out the way too. A lot of y'all have already hit me, and y'all know Tuesday is the 3rd anniversary of my mom's passing. I appreciate all the well wishes. I might not holler at you Tuesday. I don't know how I'm going to feel, so I'm letting everybody know now. Thank you
I'm
very
going to holler
much
at you
for the
Tuesday
love.
to make sure you're okay.
For the love, though, I'm just letting everybody know now. I'm good. You know what I'm saying?
Still sending love.
I feel like she passed. I feel like she passed me the baton. She used to do a lot in the community. You know what I'm saying? My mom used to both of the Obama elections.
Oh, yeah?
She ran down she went busloads to Philly registering people in different states, registering people and getting them to vote for Obama. She used to do foreclosure. She used to help people save their houses if they got issues in foreclosure. And then she was a senior rights advocate. So, she helped she helped mad people. And even though I don't do a lot of those things, I felt like when Damon approached me with this, and then after she passed, I ran with it instead of going back to Atlanta where I was staying before that. And I just I felt like she passed me the baton, so I ran with it. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to do my part in what I do to help the people and educate the people and all that good stuff. So peace to all of those people who already shouted me out, and
You do a lot of stuff, AJ.
I mean, I try. You know what I mean? Like everybody. Everybody.
You don't try, you do.
Everybody got to do their part for this thing to be successful. Like you know, Damon do a lot of things in the police. Damon's in front of the camera all the time.
Right.
Damon does a lot of things in front of the, and you know, the helping people on legal issues, on issues with the police and all that stuff. I don't do that. You know what I mean? But I got a pen. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I do. I write. And I run my mouth, and I've always had something to do with writing or radio.
I'm your twin.
All my.
There's a lot of things you guys do that a lot of people don't even know.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you know what? There's a behind the scenes
That's
stuff.
right.
And a lot of people don't know.
Yep. That's why you guys are blessed.
And you know what? And that's why I want to spotlight a
There
lot
you
of.
go.
That's why I want to spotlight a lot of other cats, a lot of other people in the community that also do a lot of things, and they don't get awards. Like what Drake said, there's no award for this.
Yes,
You know what I'm saying?
yes,
There's
yes.
no award for this. You know what I mean? You just, trophy. Ain't no awards for this. We just do it. And if everybody did their part, we'd be a whole lot further on. You know what I'm saying? There's always something you could do. Mentor youth. I'm saying get involved in your community on some kind of level. You know what I mean? It's something you could do. This is what I
Everybody
do.
don't have to give 100. You give 10%.
Yeah.
That's right. 10 people get 10%.
You know
That's
what-
100
you
right
know
there.
what? And they talk about that in church.
And that's a
right?
team.
That's right.
They talk about that in church, like a person that's a millionaire giving $1,000 on Sunday in church is a drop in the bucket.
Exactly.
But a person who has $100 and is struggling and gave 30, that 30 was more of a sacrifice
Yes, yes.
than that 1,000. Yeah, they're gonna utilize 1,000 more than the 30, but that sacrifice from that individual was more. If you got unpaid bills and you got $100 and you gave 30, you know what I'm saying? And if you got $1 million and you gave a G, that's like you put pennies in the thing. You know what I mean? So, it's whatever you can do, and it doesn't have to be big. Everything doesn't have to be big. It's the small. They say what they say, like a raindrop, a drop of water can break through a stone.
Yes.
And it's gonna take 1,000 years, maybe. But that constant drop of water
Wear it out.
can wear out a stone. You know what I mean? So sometimes we just gotta wear them down, little by little by little by little, even when it don't look like you're winning. It looks like ain't nothing going on. You gotta continue on, and that's my little rant for everything. You see, I wasn't on last week. I had a whole lot to say. So I'm like,
Okay.
So, Lorraine,
Yeah.
what's good with you?
These last couple of weeks has been crazy.
Okay.
Crazy. I went to barbecue at my brother's house. He's one of my brothers. I got a whole bunch of him. He's a correction officer, so I spent the day with a whole bunch of cops and correction officers, which was really weird for me.
okay.
That is, being an ex-felon. So that was weird. But I had a great time. I got a stalker on Facebook.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, he hit me. He just hit me up right now. I'm getting ready to block him. Yo, he texted me
know what
last
they
night
say-
at
you
3
said-
o'clock in the morning
you
asking
said-
me to text
they-
him some pictures.
They say you ain't nobody till somebody stalks you.
Right. I was about to ask you, is it a good stalker or a bad stalker?
Well, he seems very nice, but when you hit somebody up at 3 o'clock in the morning talking about send me a picture,
And we know you don't like to be bothered after 10. After 10 o'clock, you don't bother.
That sounds like a booty call.
I know. I was like, yo, dude, if that's what I said. You're looking for a hookup. I'm not the one, dude. And then he was all apologetic, but he's getting blocked today. Spent some time with my grandson, who's the love of my life. He's my 4-year-old little grandson. He unfortunately was taken by the system. We just got him back, so it's oh God, glory be to God. I have that baby back.
Oh,
And
one thing real quick. Yo, shout out to Brenda L. Crump. And for everybody that don't know what I'm talking about, the story of OJ right under the video. She posted the video.
Oh,
So-
yeah.
So you can click on it and watch
Yeah,
it for
she's on
yourself.
point. She's on-
Yo,
she-
because
she
you
always
got to
on
see what he's saying right there. Is
oh, there it is.
Yeah. I can't play it though, but because YouTube cuts off the stream when we play uncopyrighted. If I play that right now, the Facebook live stream goes off. They cut you off because that ain't yours. You know what I'm saying? So we try not to, But the link is there, and you can click on the link yourself. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
I had some bad news yesterday.
Okay.
When I worked for the city, for 30 years, and
Okay.
one of my I used to run the Department of Human Rights, and I used to also run the Department of Constituent Services. Wait, before anything, let me say, Yonkers Voice Central is in the house. Come in here and just wave and say hello. Ben, just say hi. Come on. Say
Yes,
hi.
yes, shout
There you
out.
go, Yonkers Voice. The legend is real.
YV in the house.
There you
Yes,
go.
yes, yes. And look forward to, we're having a lot of conversations with Black Westchester and Yonkers Voice doing some stuff together, some collaborating stuff. Shout out to them for letting us share the video of the Ernie Davis interview that they did.
Yeah, that was nice.
Robbie Man conducted the interview.
Yeah.
That was nice.
Robbie's been here a couple of times.
They let us share the video on Black Westchester, and a lot of Mount Vernon Nights, a lot of people checked it out. So,
But
shout
let me
out-
finish
shout out to
real.
them. Go
Let me
ahead,
finish
Black
real
Truth.
quickly because this is very important. Well, I used to run the Department of Human Rights in the city of Yonkers for about 30 years, and one of my employees, he worked for me for 10 years. Younger dude, he just recently moved to Florida, and I found out yesterday that he passed away. And he's just a wonderful guy, very beloved in the community. And I just want to give a shout out to his family and send my condolences on behalf of People Before Politics and let them know that we're thinking about them and we're very sorry for their loss.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely.
If I may, talking about death, we want to put a shout out to Officer Familia, NYPD.
Yes, yes.
Oh God!
God bless you and your family. Black Westchester.
Can we also
Westchester
say screw the
Corrections
mayor?
Association.
Can we say?
Blacks in law enforcement.
There you go.
Support you.
Which mayor? But yes, but which mayor?
Support
New
you.
York City Mayor.
Oh yeah, anytime.
She got murdered. There was 2 officers that was plain clothes that shot and murdered the suspect. And thank God. God is good. But
Well, they're making changes now because of that, right?
they that's in talks. But no offense. We
They
can talk
said that
about
the last
changes, but,
time.
listen, an officer was down. That's all that at this present time. They're going to make changes. But I hear some people talking about the officers that shot the suspect. They shouldn't have shot him. They should have shot him in the leg. Listen, as you're an officer, you're trained to shoot, set a mass. Okay, you're not trained to shoot to harm somebody. This officer Familia was sitting inside the command center,
Yeah.
minding her business, doing her job, and she was assassinated. And we're going to send out love to her and her family, NYPD, and all officers in blue.
Absolutely.
All.
We once again, you've heard
Respect.
everybody on this show has said it. It's a shame that we have to continue to say it. We are not anti-police.
No.
No,
support
we
the
love them.
police. A lot of the police do their thing and they do what they're supposed to do.
It's a small
percentage,
yes.
but it's just that that's who you see all the time.
Yes.
And we anti anybody who come to our community not doing what they're supposed to be doing, point blank. But Black by popular demand,
Uh-oh.
David K. Jones has
Uh-oh.
walked up in the room.
What's up? What's up, family?
I know y'all seen the face, and I just told you he's on hiatus. And he
Yeah.
had to walk in the room.
Yeah. What's up, family? It's great. I'm just here for a hot second. In respect to Officer Familia, condolences, but we also have to, like brother said, this changes. Why do we always have to do common sense changes after someone loses their lives? Why did a mobile command center, right, not have bulletproof windows?
Yeah.
Why did a mobile command center not have tinted windows? If the windows was tinted, then the officer, then the
There would be no way to aim.
suspect, right, couldn't,
Can't see.
well, right, can't see, he
Can't
can't,
see.
he can't aim. So I mean, we have to start, addressing common sense changes. I mean, if the police department is a paramilitary unit, in which what it is, and some people say that is actually military, but these are common sense changes. Some people say, oh well, cops has been. Let's be honest, cops have been shot through the windshield for decades. This is not the first time, and hopefully we say every time it's the last time, but police management and politicians, they do not do the necessary changes and pass the necessary legislation to protect police officers, to protect law enforcement. You know, I mean, we have to push them to make the changes. And it's not about, you know, all right, so your taxes go up $1, so all the police cars can have a protective sheet or protective glass, so officers won't get killed. You know, I mean, having your taxes go up $1, is that bad enough? You know, so we won't have another, you know, officer familiar, you know, or any other officer that's shot. So we have to start, you know, making, you know, common sense changes and really seeing in the humanity in law enforcement, you know, that they're people too.
A loss of life is a loss
You know,
of life.
yeah, right. You know, and you know, this is not, you know, I support all good law enforcement. You know, if you're bad and you violate policy and procedure, you could kiss my ass. I don't care what color you are.
Tell them how you really
It's-
feel.
Welcome back.
I was gonna say,
right,
here we
it's-
go.
It's just straight up like that. You know, it's straight up. But you know, we have to really. I mean, that has to be discussed. And I'm really disgusted that they allowed the 911, the actually radio transmission of her death of the officer. You know, they put it out even before the family. You know, even before. she
Yeah,
was
less
in
than
the-
24 hours
Right.
after,
You
right?
posted about that.
Right, even before she was in the ground, man. You know, I mean, and the reality is this: it's still a active investigation going on, right? You know, they haven't closed the investigation just because she's dead and the purpose dead. It's still an active investigation on actually what actually happened, because they have to dissect that to find out what actually happened. You know, and it wasn't even clear on who this guy is. They know he had a criminal history, and some people said he was mentally ill and he went to try to get help. And,
Yeah.
you know,
they kept
and-
him for 7 hours
Right.
and let him go.
Right. So that's so now we have to look at, you know, hey, hello, Governor Cuomo. You know, you closed down all the mental hospitals, a lot of the mental hospitals and the psychiatric and the psychiatric housing. You know, so now they're, you know, crazies are walking the street, you know, left and right, and they're not getting any help. You know, they're not getting it. People with mentally ill that come back from wars. You know, I mean, we've been in a war over a decade in the Middle East. You know, and people are coming back affected with that. You know, PSD. So, you know, all these are factors. You know, and where the hell did he get the gun from? The gun was stolen in 2012.
From a cop, right?
No, but well, I'm not sure it was a cop, but it was in Virginia.
Yeah, it was a cop.
It was a cop. So,
Yeah.
right. So how the hell did the gun get up here? You know, we know how the gun got up here. Most of the legal guns in New York City come from out of state. You know, but where is the police union to actually address, you know, gun laws? You know, cops are getting killed by illegal guns. Cops are not getting killed by registered gun owners, right? They're getting killed by people that shouldn't have guns, right? But the police unions are not being vocal on stiffer gun laws because a lot of them are tied with the NRA. You know, we're gonna have an honest conversation. We should have an honest conversation about this. You know, because most of the police officers are members of the NRA. A lot of them are members of the NRA. A lot of the guys I used to work with, I mean, there's a whole new generation that's working now, but a lot of guys I came up with, they were all NRA card carrying members. You know, so when a police officer gets killed by a legal gun, right, and then we want to talk about stiffer gun laws, stiffer gun penalties, and how do we stop illegal guns coming into our communities, you know, especially black and brown communities, because we ain't got no money to buy AK-47. So how are we getting AK-47s in the hood? How we getting how are we getting these automatic weapons, these military grade automatic weapons in the hood? We ain't got no. Some of these kids ain't never left the hood. So how they getting all these guns? How is a
And
person
they're not being made in the hood.
right? Well, we know they're not being made either, but they're coming in the hood. I mean, and when a cop gets killed, we don't have these conversations about illegal guns in the communities, especially in the black community. She didn't get killed. She didn't get killed in the rich section of Brooklyn or West or Scarsdale or any of that. She got killed in an area that they already knew was high crime, gang violence, shootings, and so, and that's why they put a mobile command center in there that wasn't fortified enough. You know, that's like dropping a Ford Explorer off in Afghanistan. Right? Just a regular Ford Explorer, dropping it off in Afghanistan and putting 2 soldiers in it and wonder why they get killed. I'm just being honest.
That's a good
I'm
analogy.
just being
That's
honest
a
because
good analogy.
because they put those cops in danger. Because that mobile command center wasn't fortified enough, and they already knew it was a high crime area with shootings and stabbings and killings and everything and murders and homicides.
So they just put a target on their back.
You know, but nobody wants to talk about that. But then they want to say, all right, cops are in danger. Yes, we understand that, but it's too many layers to that to even discuss that in one night. But what we want to say is, why are you putting the cops in danger without the proper necessary equipment and safety and security measures? And that should be a problem, you know. And then when you're talking about people don't like cops, well, you know, a lot of times when we get abused in our community, especially when you're talking about New York City, you know, those are the ones that's on the specialized units. So they come in, abuse the people, and they jet out the community. Then they put the black and Latino cop, and they put them on the beat. And then they the ones that get the heat from the specialized units that disrespect the people. So I mean, that's a conversation that needs to be had too.
That's
People don't
true.
want to have those conversations. People don't want to have those conversations because the one that's going to get hit is the one from the community. Because a lot of us, black and brown, we become police officers and law enforcement because we love our community. And we don't mind working in our community. But the ones that abuse our community is in the specialized units. They come in, beat us up, arrest us, and we won't see them again until they come swoop in at like a thief in the night, another night, and do the same thing. But when the people find out, they get mad. They get mad at us because we on the front line, because we're loving our community and we're policing our community. So I mean, it's a lot of conversation that go around with this sister, you know, that should happen after she's laid to rest and the family is able to grieve, you know, and hopefully the Grand Council, I talked to Charles Billups, and they're going to do a memorial after the funeral services, and because they want, you know, no distraction. And he said they're definitely going to do that, and hopefully when we get the date, we could put it out, and people could come out that, you know, black and Latino law enforcement from New York State will be doing something, you know, in honoring of Officer Familia very soon. You know, we'll wait till after the regular.
Black Westchester's probably going to do something too, because I wanted to wait for a minute because there was a whole bunch of thumbs back and forth. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
they put out the video too, not just the audio.
Yeah, they put the video out.
Yeah.
I mean, why? I mean, what? Like,
What's the urgency?
it's like, what purpose?
Right.
What purpose does that play?
None.
Other than political rhetoric? It doesn't play. We know she was shot. We know she was killed. Right? They know that. Why? I think it's very insensitive to the family that is as grieving at this point to put all that stuff out. I mean, what? I mean, it doesn't make any sense. It's real insensitive.
Absolutely.
And you know, she had 3 kids. She had a 20-year-old
Yeah.
daughter, and she
See,
had
that's the other-
12-year-old twins.
that's
Man,
the-
these are babies.
that's the side of the story that Black Westchester wants to tell. Like this is a mother. You know what I'm saying? This is the side of the story you don't never really get to hear.
She was hardworking.
Real quick shout out to my man Didiman Tate from Atlanta, and I'm sure I'm gonna mess up your last name, Joanne Campudani, Campudoni. Shout out to her and everybody else who is tuned in to Black Westchester right now. I mean, to People Before Politics right now. Yo, I did want to talk about something, but I'm gonna talk about it later on. About an incident dealing with police and investigation dealing with Mount Vernon, but we can talk about that later.
Yeah, man, I can't.
No. I said we're going to talk about that later. So, what else? Oh, like I said, on Black Westchester for all those missed it, there was a good interview that the Yonkers Voice did on Ernie Davis. It was Life After Politics. You know, he gave his take on what's going on there, what's going on now, and how he sees it. So on Black Westchester, definitely worth checking out. Also, there's a couple of stories that we did. Like, people always say, yo, Black Westchester only show the bad news. They don't show the good news. You know what? When we write good stories, people don't read it. You know what I'm
They're
saying?
not interested.
Like I get frustrated. Like, yo, I wrote a story about a 7-year-old female who has her own food truck. Dude, like she's mixing the
Not
ice
one
drinks
light.
and stuff. It was a couple, but I'm just saying, like, dude, this is a 7-year-old girl. She's running it. This is hers. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo,
That's awesome.
people don't read about that. Like, you know, and then we read the story about the talented 18. Imagine Me Leadership Charter School 5th graders taking the 9th grade Regents exam.
Yeah.
Come
Oh,
on,
I
dude.
read that.
I read that
That
one.
was
Yeah,
that's
awesome.
crazy.
Like, yo, for real, like, how are we not talking about stuff like that? Yes, it's not. Neither one of those stories is in Westchester, but they in the black community. You know, the girl was from Arkansas, Little Rock, Arkansas, and the kids was from Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? But you know, we got to big those things up. You know what I mean? So you know, we got to big those things up. But we do rate those kind of stories, and they are in the current the cover page of blackwestchester.com right now. Check out the site for yourself. You know, a lot of times people will check out links on Facebook and they'll go to that story. But you know, it's updated daily. So you know, go to the site every day. Check out what's going on. You know, in the local community and around the country, etc. So we put a lot of work into it. You know what I'm saying?
Aw,
so,
poor
you know,
baby.
You know what I mean? It'd be nice if
Aw.
you check it out. The work though.
We'll read
You
it.
appreciate
We'll
it.
read it. We're right, folks. We're all gonna read it.
I'm just saying though. You know what
I like everything.
And make a comment, please.
Oh, that's
Or
the most
just
important
like
thing.
it.
You know, like you share it on Facebook, so people will go to the site, and then 78 people will leave comments on Facebook. Like you can't read that when you're in the so other people that's reading the story can't engage in it because it's on Facebook. You know what I'm saying? So leave your comment at the bottom, and there's 2 comment sections. One that's on the site, you got to sign in and subscribe to the site. The other one is you can use your Facebook sign in. You know what I'm saying? You sign in and you leave a Facebook comment on the site. But this way, like when you're reading it, then you read the comments, good or bad, you can interact, and that's what we're trying to get, some interaction. You know, on, especially when we touch upon some subjects that people don't want to touch upon. So.
That's right. We
Yeah,
need
yeah,
dialogue,
yeah,
folks.
no.
Dialogue.
You know, so David, while you're here, anything else up? Like, I mean, you know, what you been up to, brother? Where you been?
Nothing, man. Just working, just trying to get ready for this conference. I have a teacher class in the conference. National Association Blacks in Criminal Justice is coming up.
Okay, that's what's up.
I
That
have to
sounds
do a
real
class
impressive.
conference. It's going to be called The Importance of Black Law Enforcement Organizations. Yeah, it'd be basically, that's, we're just talking about the importance and why black law enforcement organizations are actually needed, and that law enforcement itself is the last bastion of white supremacy. It's going to be a good conversation. We're also going to discuss the nigger culture in policing, scientifically speaking.
We were
You
just
know.
talking about that earlier, right?
Yeah, scientifically speaking, for those who are listening, like, oh my God, he said the word nigger.
That's why
Yeah.
Jay-Z released
Oh.
the story of OJ for y'all cats.
Yeah, right. Oh my God, he said the word nigger. It's so. Oh no, it's scientifically.
So what does that mean scientifically?
Scientifically speaking, the word nigger is different. A black man and nigger are 2 different things. A nigger is a black person that has been broken down, that refuses to fight.
You know, and there's some ignorance. It has some ignorance to do because there's some people that ain't black that they niggas. I'm sorry. There's a few of them that I
I know a whole bunch of
few
them that are
you
not
know what
black.
I'm saying? Yeah.
Right, but there's in 12 Years a Slave. If anybody saw the movie, there's a part in the movie when they had first grabbed the brother, right, and they threw him on the bottom. He was on the bottom of the ship, and he was somebody's at the door.
Yeah, not a fuss.
Oh, no, all right. Somebody
Somebody for the show?
No.
Oh.
and he was he was on the bottom of the boat, and there was a whole bunch of black men underneath the boat. They were all underneath the boat, and he was talking to a group of like 3, and he was like, "Well, how do we get out of here?" Right? And he says, well, he says, how many people is up top? He said, there's only four people up top. He says, man, look at all these men down here. He said, we could take over the boat. We could take over the boat and free ourselves. So one of the guys said, man, them over there is niggas.
Yeah.
They scared to fight. They're not going to fight. It's just us three against those four up top. So, in essence, what that guy was saying was that there were three actually free black men on that boat, at the bottom underneath that boat. And the rest of them were broken down. They were broken down to the point that they were niggas. And he identified them as, those are niggas. They're scared to fight. They don't have no more fight in them. And that has what happened to the castration of black men, and even black men in law enforcement, because they are put in a culture of white supremacy, and they come in as black men, and they end up being blue, and they end up turning themselves into that culture that has been oppressive to our people since they created a police department. So, when we discuss the nigger culture, in law enforcement, we actually discuss the castration of the black male, and why the black male officer in particular has been relatively silent in the oppression of their people. And some of them
That sounds like a whole show. We should.
and some of them has been co-conspirators of abusing their people, all of in the sake of having a badge on their chest. So that will be part of my book and part of the discussion that I will be talking about in Cincinnati with the National Association of Blacks in Criminal Justice. And we have all these organizations: Blacks in Law Enforcement America, National Association of Blacks in Criminal Justice, National Black Police Association, the National Association of Black Law Enforcement Executives.
Ooh.
Right?
Oh, there you
right?
go.
But how many of those organizations actually should carry the word black?
I got you.
How many mission statement is for black people? Right? How many law enforcement executives do you see speaking out against policies and procedures that they're over? How many have changed the policies and procedures that they're over?
That's what you mean by them turning blue?
Yes. Or just change it to Negro organization, National Negro Association, something. But sometimes they might have to take that black off of it because they're not representing. And Michelle Alexander, in her book, The New Jim Crow, she said that in over 30 years of the justice system, we have seen the advancement of black people, right, in the system. We have more black judges. We have more black commissioners. We have more black politicians. But we have no power, and we have helped created what she calls now the new Jim Crow. So we have been co-conspirators in the new Jim Crow, in the mass incarceration of our own people, while we have judges, commissioners, police officers, correction officers, court officers. We're all sprinkled up in there, but we haven't done anything to change anything, according to Michelle Alexander. Not according to me, but according to Michelle Alexander. So, I mean, that's a discussion that needs to happen, and I hope, God willing, I'll be able to finish this book. The cover is very, it's gonna open people's eyes up,
And then some.
Yeah, it's a very great cover. I like it.
I love it.
Yeah, I like it.
I love
so, the cover came to me. I was just messing around and I created it, but I'm gonna hold off on that because I want to do the book, and I want to talk about a lot of the issues because of the perceived abuse or the relationship between blacks and the police. there are already reports, that black people call 911 less, because of high-profile killings of black people, and we see it. We're going to see it in the Latino community with ICE. They're going to call 911 less because
They already are. These folks are afraid to go out the house.
there you go. But that's design. That's design. ICE is doing no different than the slave patrols did the black to run away and free slaves
Same concept.
back in the days. They're doing the same thing. It's nothing has changed.
These folks are all over Ossining, all over Portchester. They went in and took a 12-year-old kid from Ossining out of school.
Yeah, and they're doing the same thing. This is what you see ICE doing is what policing was designed to do, in his original state, and that's something, nobody wants to talk about.
Real quick shout out to Kwame Veer from WHCR City College Radio. Shout out to him listening on the check-in, and Kadar Phillips. And Kwame, yeah, we gotta holler. 'Cause I gotta go back on your show. We gotta follow. I love that show that they do. It's like it's like a mature hip hop show. You playing some really good music and having some dope conversation. So WHCR, I don't know, it's 90.3, I think. I forget what day it's on, but check out his show.
Damon, let me ask you a question. That word that I refuse to say. You said sometimes it's towards non-blacks, right?
I said that.
Okay. Well, is it fair to say that the Jews were called that?
They called a bunch of other things.
Yeah, well, they called a bunch of other stuff, but that
They were treated
Well, I
that
mean,
way.
it's the
Well,
same,
they were treated-
Is it the same thing with the Nazis as it is with?
no,
Okay.
no.
Because
no.
they people were broken down too.
Yeah, they
and
were-
and
they-
there were a lot of them, and they couldn't fight.
They were broken down, but the difference between the Jews and difference between blacks, we're told to forget.
Yeah.
Jews never
Well,
forget the
there's-
Holocaust.
No
but-
repercussions.
But
Okay.
that's not the only difference too. The other difference is, the three of us can't walk anywhere without them seeing black.
Yes.
You can be Jewish and
And-
walk in a room
Yes.
and you don't
And-
see
and-
Jewish.
no, you see
necessarily.
white.
You see white.
You see white.
You understand what I'm saying? Because let's put it, all of them other nationalities was immigrants when they first came over here, and a lot of them was the Irish was treated bad when they first got here. The Italians was treated like crap when they first got here. You know what I'm saying? Like so they was all, you know what I'm saying? And then they got
Not
that
only
power.
that, man. Jews had slaves. Come on, man.
Oh, actually, yeah.
Come on. They were
Some say they still do in Hollywood, but
right. Jews. They were Jewish slaves owners. The Nation of Islam Research Center put out The Secret Relationship Between Blacks and Jews, where they quoted Jewish scholars on the issue of actually slavery. When they got blacks being 3/5 of a man, that they got that from Jewish writings. So I mean, we could really get deep into that discussion, and I hope one day we could bring Minister Hafiz or hopefully reach out to Dr. Wesley Muhammad to really have that discussion on what was the secret relationship between blacks and Jews, which they don't talk about,
No,
and which,
you don't hear none of that.
no, which we was true. Well, Jews were slave owners, just like they were Arabs that were slave owners and Arabs that captured slaves in Africa and sold them to the slave traders. I mean, black people were our economy. We were no different than cattle. And we was traded. We was traded among the world. So for us to think that they were treated they were treated different. Yeah, they were treated a little better because they were able to hide their Jewishness. We're not able to hide our blackness. Our blackness, I walk in the room, you see my blackness before you see anything else.
because I'm black, y'all.
You know what someone told me? There's this person that was doing this immigration event at the local library. So I reached out to her, and I said, you know, this is great. You know, why don't you give me some information? Do you have it in Spanish? You know, so I can post it, or you know, I can let other folks know. And this person's response to me was, first of all, we don't speak Spanish, so therefore we don't have it in Spanish. And I got this stuff on text. I mean, I've gotten it right. And then the person proceeded to tell me, by the way, the immigrants are the Germans, the Irish, the Italians in Yonkers. Therefore, we are the minorities.
Amazing.
Well, you know what? Let me just say something real quick. The reason I don't use the word minority when there are grants and stuff for minorities, women are included in that.
White women.
White women are included in that. Women are so they're not the same. You know, black like you know. When you use the word minority, other groups that are included in that. You know what I'm saying? It's not just us. You know what I'm saying? White women are a minority. You know what I'm saying? Considered a minority. So, you know, like you said, white women. There's white women that get grant money from minorities.
I was going to say the women's business organization.
I'm not saying that they don't deserve anything or nothing like that. I'm just saying, though, they get minority business owners, and that's where a lot of that money goes.
You know, they're better at writing. I can speak for the Hispanics. They're better at writing. They're better at doing research. They're better on writing grants. Like, you know, and they know people.
Point blank, even when there's money set aside for black, there is money that I still haven't found out how to get yet. And anybody who knows, please call or give me some information. There is millions of dollars set aside by the government for African American owned media. Some of it is minority owned media. Again, that goes to women's organizations and stuff. But there is some money set for African American owned media that does not trickle down to the Black Westchesters of the world. And I'm not just saying us, but it does not trickle down because a lot of people don't know it exists. So, you know, these bigger corporations that, you know, are considered minority companies, you know, minority owned companies, you know, and you know, we have to do better in researching.
So Ivanka Trump is a minority?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then some.
Oh, she, yeah. What's her nationality again? She's a couple of minorities.
A couple of minorities.
I don't know what she is, bro. I'm just trumped out, man.
Yeah, me and you.
It doesn't even make any sense.
I was watching You can't watch MSNBC or anything. It's like all Trump all the time.
CNN.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
it's news. I mean,
I watch
it's
both.
ratings.
I watch Fox too
But
because I try to get a balance.
I can't always blame them coming from someone who does news. That's what people want to see, and that's what they want to hear, and they keep tuning into it.
But
I tried watching Fox News.
I can't do it. Yeah. But
I tried to watch it once or twice just to get their opinions. Just to get their
It wasn't even
perspective.
opinions. It was
Just to get their
It
perspective.
was just how they.
It was a love fest.
I wanted
It was
to
just how
hear-
they were talking. It was like I was like, it's not even
I haven't
intelligent.
listened during Trump, but before that, you know, Obama, you know, sometimes you just want to hear what the other people, the other side thinks about you. You know, you really want to hear. Yeah, I couldn't do too much more of that.
Senator Lindsey Graham was on MSNBC today, and he killed Trump.
Really?
Republican Senator Lindsey Graham.
Yeah,
Killed him.
because he's talking about, you know,
killed him.
Putin
him.
and I, the Russians and I, we're going to start, you know, we're going to work together for election fraud. Are you kidding
But
me?
not only that, though,
Russians.
wait.
He said the Russians is working with him for election.
Yes, they're going to work together.
Cyber terrorism. They're going to form a cyber terrorism.
team up, a
But
Election.
but
So
listen.
therefore, they're going to give the Russians all our information that they already have, by the way.
But listen, also, so they're going around, you know, the revised affordable health care, you know, their thing,
Okay.
right? But the what's the minority, the majority leader? His name, he's from Kentucky or something. Or
Mitch McConnell. Is it not McConnell?
Mitch McConnell, yes it is. Yes it
Okay.
is.
is he
Yes,
from
it is.
Kentucky?
McConnell,
Is he from
okay.
Kentucky?
I don't know where he's from, but I know he's the majority
Okay,
leader.
this is McConnell. Yeah, all right.
Well, they were saying the dude from Kentucky. I think it was him. He wants to fight back and he wants to support this, but 80% of his district
Yes.
are
It's gonna be
would lose their benefits.
Oh
like,
no,
or
they
something.
all
You
took
know
a
what I'm
recess and
saying?
nobody's
They're-
at any town
they're
hall
like-
meetings. Everyone's
they're
hiding.
like the people, the majority of and the major majority of his people in his district that vote. Those are the people that are on. So if he cancels it, all of those people are gonna lose their benefits.
You know,
And there's no way you're getting reelected after that. Like you just
Ain't
can't
none of
take-
them getting reelected.
you know, some people didn't even know the Affordable Care Act was Obamacare.
Right. Because they
They had no clue.
They had a
It was
Saturday,
the same
they had a
thing.
Saturday Night Live clip, and it was like they were asking the dude playing Trump. It was like, yeah, so what would you do to replace the Obamacare? He said, yeah, I seen some papers, this new thing, the Affordable Care Act.
Oh, I know. How, oh my
He
God,
said,
how
that's pretty
ignorant.
good. That's pretty good, but Obamacare sucks, though.
Yeah. Amazing.
There is
Some research.
yeah, because really I wanted to see if we could flip this. I don't know if I sent it to you. See if we could flip this article. There's
Ben's in the house. Hi, Ben.
there's a former
Oh, okay.
a former CIA agent. His name is Ray McGovern. I heard him on the Black Eagle. Heard him on the Black Eagle on Sirius FM,
That's my man.
and he said something that was very important, right? He said that the Hillary emails was never hacked. They were leaked.
They were leaked. Yeah, that came out. I read that.
Right, that they were leaked. They were never hacked. Nobody ever got hacked. It was leaked because the NSA would have detected them hacking the system. NSA never confirmed of any hacking of the system, just the leakage. Now, also,
There's a difference.
he brought up Obama's last speech about when Obama said there wasn't any connection to the Russians in WikiLeaks. So there wasn't any connection to Russians in WikiLeaks, that someone else gave WikiLeaks the emails. So that's another issue that need to be addressed. Hillary Clinton's camp ran with the Russian hacking, and everybody just jumped on board with it, and because they didn't want to discuss the actual emails. See, we're missing something.
Redirected.
We're missing something. We're missing what was in the emails. The emails wasn't false, right? How they conspired to make sure that Bernie Sanders would not be the Democratic candidate for president. That's what was in the emails. How they were going to make sure that sister, Senator Nina Turner, would never have a position in the Democratic Party ever. Right? And you haven't seen Nina Turner on MSNBC.
Yep.
You haven't seen Nina Turner on CNN after she made that statement that she didn't give a damn how those emails came out. She saw her name in those emails, and she has a problem. And you haven't seen her on TV ever after that. So, I mean, we need to really discuss that, and we need to discuss how these political parties, how they connive and scheme to keep good people from being public servants.
I just want to say.
I see that on the local level.
Brenda,
Well,
Imagine
that's-
on
yeah.
the national level.
Brenda just released the link to the Ray McGovern ex-CIA analyst reveals all. So y'all can watch
Yeah.
the video for yourselves. Just click on that link.
Yeah,
Thanks,
yeah.
Brenda.
Click
What
on
else,
that.
Brenda?
Link. Matter of fact, we're gonna do a post and have that up on the website
Black Westchester, yeah.
on Black Westchester, because see, we need to discuss that, and just like Sister said, it's not just national politics; it's local politics. Where they pull the flim flam, where they pull the flim flam on people to keep good people out of office, to keep these fools, in office, and the people vote for these people blindly just because they're a Democrat or Republican. They just go and click the lever. I talk to Republicans.
Or because they're an incumbent.
Right. I talk to Republicans all the time. You don't get a raise. The 4 years the man's been in office. And you're gonna vote for him because he's Republican. Well, he's making your family starve. Why would you vote for him? Why I supported Astorino against Andy Spano because we ain't have no damn raise. I wanted a raise. Right? Yeah, and if you're not gonna give me a raise, this man say he's gonna give me a raise. I'm voting for this man gonna give me a raise.
Did you get the raise?
We got the raise and we got more shit with the raise, so I never supported him after that. So, but you damned if you do, you damned if you don't, right? You deal with the devil you know or the devil you don't know. I didn't know either one of the devils, so I just rolled the dice. It didn't matter to me. But the whole thing is we have to start voting for our interests. We don't vote for our interests. We vote for, who the party line, or we vote for who's cute.
Vote,
how they make you feel when they meet you. If they make you feel good because they know how to compliment you, I'm voting for him.
They want to kiss on your cheek and stuff like that.
Yeah, hold your babies.
Yeah. Oh, we want to vote for him, or they vote for, he didn't raise taxes. All right, well, don't get mad when you
lose your child care.
Right, or when your tire broke because you got a pothole in the street. You ain't want to pay taxes, so now you got to pay for a new tire. So these are the things that we have to balance out as a people and be educated when we vote, because basically no matter what party you are at this point, it's more of the same.
An educated voter is the biggest threat.
Yeah. Well, Bob Baskerville came on time. Now it's time for me to go. I was just hanging out. I was just hanging out to Dr. Bob here.
He was keeping your seat warm.
For all you WWE fans, David's about to tap him in.
Yeah, right. Tap him back.
Oh, well, I'm a WWE.
I'm ready to pick up on a couple of those themes, too. I was listening.
Hi, baby.
Yeah, well, it's time for me to go. Dr. Bob's here, man, and everybody, peace out.
Then now we gotta wait 5 minutes. Then it's safe to talk about a couple of topics.
Yeah. I gotta get clear out. Because I saw Bob had a little interesting conversation on Facebook. I'm just gonna say with certain people want to come on and challenge his doctoral.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Well, you're not gonna win.
Yeah. We gotta let him get on the highway before that one starts.
All right.
All right, fearless leader.
All right,
Yes,
my
yes.
brother.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Love
sir.
and respect
All
all the time.
right.
Yes.
Yo, I'm gonna hit you later. We got some emails that gotta go out.
Yo, he been trying to catch up with me.
I'm trying to catch up to Bob,
I've been
man.
in the gym lately. I told him we got
Look at him
a lot
on,
of work to do.
really?
I'm trying to catch up to Bob.
So now we got we switching Dave McKay Jones.
The doc is in the house.
Made a brief appearance, and now kaboom! Guess who stepped up in the room?
One great to another great.
Dr. Robert Baskerville of the Brooklyn Baskervilles.
It's good to be here. I know I haven't been here in a while. I think I missed the last show, right?
Last 24. No.
Last
AJ knows how to make me feel welcome.
I was hanging out with you yesterday, so I was like,
Right.
Shout out to Mike Holt,
My man Mike,
Cookout.
who I don't always see eye to eye on.
Oh no! They very rarely see. I don't know how they're friends. I'll be waiting for them to fight a few times. But I think Mike just enjoys pushing your buttons just to push your buttons, and knows you long enough to know what buttons to push down.
He does, and Mike, like a lot of people in the city, I think have legitimate questions, at least about my approach to analysis, and I kind of welcome those things because I'm not scared to put my views out there. So Mike is not scared to challenge them, and
But that's healthy comments. That's healthy.
But
But the thing is, where people can learn from y'all are friends though. Where the kind of discussions y'all be having and disagreements, we got people like Bloods and Crips, like eternal enemies forever.
Yeah.
Like just because you was on the other side of it, like there's never at the end of it. Like you know what I'm saying? Like we ready to fight, and never speak to you again, and I know you 50 years. Like you know what I'm saying, over an issue, or because you supported somebody that I didn't like, or didn't support somebody that I did like, or You know what I'm saying? Or, you know.
It's like when you was kids, you had a fight, the next day you was friends again. You
What
know?
happened to our guests?
Yo, I don't know. You said you followed up with him. I
I
don't know.
followed up, sent an email. They responded.
Said they was coming?
They thanked and everything.
Yeah.
Okay, so we were supposed to have on London Reyes, who's running for what? What position?
He's running for county. But why do we even have to say
No,
it
no,
if
but
he
what-
ain't
what-
even
what-
here?
what
He's
is
running
it?
for county legislator in the 17th district against Virginia Perez, who's the incumbent.
Okay, well, he was supposed to come on today
No show, no call.
and represent, you know, why y'all should vote for him. And that empty chair in the middle is where he was going to be sitting.
Can I say something about London real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
No, you could start it off and I'll finish it.
You ladies first.
All right. First of all, I know London about 20 years. I like the guy. He's a wonderful guy. He's got an awesome program, the AAA All Stars. You know, he represents. He's good with the youth and everything like that. The guy is not cut out to be a politician, and he just needs to do what he just did today: stay home.
Oh, whoa.
No, honestly, because right now,
Tell him how you really feel.
right now,
Name is rubbing off.
no. When you don't show up,
He was already like that.
no. I mean, I send you an email. I send it to the right people. I send it to your campaign. We're professional. We asked you. We set up a time for you. Somebody else could be sitting in this seat. When you don't show up,
What time was he scheduled for?
he was supposed to be here at 6.
Oh, he was supposed to be.
Yeah, he was supposed to be here at 6.
Did he ever respond to your email or
The-
text just late
His campaign responded.
after 6?
No, they didn't say what time. But when I wrote to them, when I emailed them, I told them the
So
time.
they did confirm.
Yes. Yes, they did. But when you don't call up and you don't show, what are you going to do when you get elected? Already you're forgetting about your people? Come on now.
I mean, personally, I have to say, I'm extremely disappointed. I was looking forward to meeting the gentleman. I
Yeah.
never met him before.
Nor have I.
About a month ago or so, he called and got in contact with DK and wanted us as Westchester Correctional Association Black and Law Enforcement to endorse him. Set up a time and a date. Brooke Jones, Westchester Correctional Association president, got all the board together.
With Brooke?
Brooke got all the board.
Oh,
She got all
no.
the board. All of us was down.
See, I
for
find
the
that
meeting.
disrespectful.
And she did a good job. She had to drive all the way up to Orange County to get 2 people to bring everybody down to meet this man, and it was also a no call, no show.
You know, and not only that, but he
Wow.
started off his campaign. He started his
Pattern.
I mean, like I said, let me just
Yeah, yeah.
Let me preface. Sorry, I don't mean to cut
No,
you.
go ahead.
I do not know this young man. Okay, I don't know him.
He's
I
a
don't
nice
know.
guy.
Right.
Nice guy.
I just want to make that clear. It's nothing personal.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know him. No, nothing. But the only thing I'm saying is that he asked us for a meeting. Brooke Jones and Damon Jones orchestrated that meeting, and Brooke got all the board members together. I think 7, 8 of us. She had to go pick up 2 of them. It was no call, no show, no response to text messages, emails. Still to this day, no type of comment or why you didn't show up.
You know,
That's all
this-
I got to say. I don't know the young man. So
Yeah. Well, I know him, so I'll speak on him. He started off his campaign really well. I mean, they was going full throttle, and people were supporting him, and he had his vision out there, and he had, he had momentum and stuff like that, and then he started being represented by Brian Harrod. Oh, Jesus Christ, and he became a tool. He became a tool, and now instead of denouncing the stuff that Brian Harrod said something like this. He said, "Listen, there was a 12-year-old kid that got killed in Yonkers by a child molester,
Yes.
by a pedophile." And Brian says, "I tell you that there's people." He says, "I tell you that people that work for the county government," and he mentioned Phil Gill, who happens to be a very nice guy. He happens to be gay, but that doesn't make him a pedophile. So he started insinuating that Phil Gill molested this kid before he got killed. Don't say that. I am the representative. I am the speaker for
I
that
stepped
family.
out. What the hell did I walk
And
into?
then he said, no, but this was, he said all this stuff in a story about how London, when he becomes the county legislator, he's going to make sure he gets rid of all the pedophiles in Yonkers. Well, denounce
Look at
that.
that.
Don't speak on that. Denounce that. No. Don't put my name in with a child, and don't go after county workers. You know, just because you want to go after them and use me as a tool. So he's been used as a tool, and ever since
I mean,
he's
it's
been used as a
unfortunate, like I
tool,
said.
he's gone downhill.
I don't know. Like I said, I don't know the gentleman. Only thing I'm saying, that out of courtesy and respect, you ask for a meeting. You know, if you can't make it, call and say you can't make it. You're running late, reschedule. That's all. I mean, that's just business. Case closed. That's so my. You know. I don't
You know
what
what?
else to
He
say
screwed
about
up. I'm
the
gonna tell you that because I can bring him hundreds, if not thousands, of people, and because of that, that boy ain't gonna win. I tell you right now, he's not winning. He's not
That
winning.
was-
Virginia Perez is gonna get her seat back. That's
I mean,
it.
that impression I got is just bad business. You know, it's just bad business.
And if you get elected, what are you gonna do if there's an
Exactly,
emergency
you
in the
know.
community? You
And
busy?
listen, things do happen. We can't make, with all of us, we can't make appointments, and we can't, you know, we schedule things, but you know, have courtesy.
You got you got people in your
Let me
campaign.
emphasize this. You reached out to us. You reached out to us, okay? We did not reach out to you. You reached out to us. So I just want to emphasize that, everybody. Okay? All right.
The same thing with
Wait,
Liam
you said
McLaughlin.
us
Can I
again.
bring up Liam
I
McLaughlin?
I just walked in the room, so
Westchester Correctional Association, Blacks in Law Enforcement, Damon K. Jones, Brooke Jones, president of Westchester Correctional Association. He asked to have a meeting with us, and Damon and Brooke orchestrated the meeting. We had a date and time. Brooke had to go, pick up a couple of the board members. We had our whole board ready at a meeting spot that they, agreed upon, and it was a no call, no show. We attempted to call them while we were sitting there waiting. No response, and still to this day, my understanding that it still hasn't been any response from Mr. Reyes.
Not even an apology.
Not even an apology. Not even a reason why he didn't.
That
make
shows
it.
a lot of class.
Yeah, I mean, it was horrible. I mean, the whole board was there. The whole board. I mean, in the middle of the day, everybody's changing their schedule because you asked for a meeting. Not good business.
so he asked.
No,
me-
and he's a nice guy. He's a nice guy, but he need to stick to do what he knows how to do, what he does best. Is working with the youth, and just leave it at that.
Well, I just, like I said, I'm saying now, I spoke to him once or twice. I don't know how he got on my radar. You told me about him, didn't you? Was it you?
No. Cause you were the one that booked him.
Okay, so I don't remember who introduced me to him. Oh, I met him at Independence Party, Doc Cavallo. Yeah,
There you go.
I met him at Independence Party.
Shout out to Doc
But-
Cavallo.
but-
Yes. Big ups.
But then he posted a picture of me and him, and it was him and Damon. It said me and him under it on Facebook.
Oh, he don't know the difference.
I mean, he probably just tagged me in it though, but it said with AJ Woodson, and it was Damon. I was like, I really don't know him. I know him from I met him. I mean, I haven't met him personally. I know, like you said, the AAA thing and the work with the youth and a lot of stuff like that. And that's kind of all I know. The few conversations I had with him. Was looking forward to having him on the show so we could ask some questions because that's how I get to know people. And
He's a nice guy.
Find out what they're about. and
He's a
stuff
real
like that.
nice guy. He's just not cut out to be a politician.
And like I
Period.
said, I don't know him personally, so it's nothing personal. No personal attacks. I'm just talking about the meeting.
No,
you
I've
asked
given
to have with
given him grants for his organization and stuff like that. I even had his picture up in my office when I worked for the
him.
city.
I'm
But
sure he's a fine
yeah, I mean, he's a
gentleman.
fine guy.
Just
But
bad
he
bad business.
he's dipping in waters he don't belong
Yeah.
to right now.
Well, you know better than me. The only thing I'm saying,
You know
bad
what?
business.
I won't, but Black Westchester will still accept his advertising though.
Oh yeah. You know what? That's how you can make it up
That's right,
for them.
yeah.
London
A couple
Reyes,
pages.
but you can apologize by taking up a couple of ads.
Wow, a couple
Show.
of ads. I like her. Like, not one, a couple.
Mr. Reyes, please.
Ain't no please. You need to do it. Period.
I'm
Man up, dude.
All right.
So,
The boss just spoke.
unfortunately, because of this being a big political, a lot of races going on, we still haven't even gotten to the Mount Vernon candidates yet, which is probably going to take the whole month of August. There is doubtful that we will be able to even reschedule before the primary. That would even be able to be possible. Because like I said, we got We have
You got the whole August
we
open
got,
though.
we got the Mount Vernon candidates. We got 9 or 13 people running for council alone, and 3 people running for controller, and we got a county legislator. You know what I'm saying? That's Mount Vernon alone. Then we got the Ossining city council brother. He's been on the show. He's coming at some point. We haven't scheduled him, and we have some other candidates too. You know.
Big
And
up
we
to
got,
Rainey
got a
next week.
slot. We got a slot open
got-
this month.
We got
We got Rainy next week.
we got
Yeah, you do.
Peekskill. We got Peekskill. Somebody said if London Reyes made the ballot. Are they asking me? Are you
They're
asking
still
me?
collecting signatures,
Are
as
you
a matter of
asking
fact.
me, or are you saying if he makes the ballot in September? Okay.
Right, because
I think that's what they're saying. It's like for another this week. There's a lot of people.
That's Rue Ross. That's Ben Fonyanka's voice.
Oh, okay.
He said, "Oofa."
Yeah, that's what I was going to read that, but I wasn't quite sure what that meant. So I was like, yo. Oh, he said, better yet, does it look like he's going to?
You know,
I
that's an
don't know.
interesting
I
question.
honestly don't know.
They've been
I don't
asking
know
for
how the
people.
signatures- I don't know how the signatures are going in Yonkers.
I can tell
I
you.
don't even know how all the signatures are going in Mount Vernon. Like I said, I've been tunnel vision on the newspaper. Everybody I talked to is said they got their signatures. You know what? I'm not speaking for a lot of the candidates. I'm not telling you to sign stuff for the candidates, but there is a what do you call it? Thing for term
Petition?
limits.
Yes, there is a petition to have a term limit referendum entered on the ballot for the city of Mount Vernon.
Really?
And if you again, I can't tell you what to sign up for, what to put your signature on. But if you feel that the city of Mount Vernon needs term limits in the mayor seat and the city council seats,
And that's all the seats, and the controller seat.
the controller seat too. Okay.
So right
Then
now, there's no
so-
term limits in Mount Vernon.
No.
Interesting.
No, so but if you feel that there's a need for term limits, there is a petition going around. Doesn't matter what party you're with, you can sign it, and if they get enough signatures, it will be on the backside of the ballot when you vote. You turn it over, and it'll be one of those things that's on the backside. So you vote for it, but this is to see if it's going to be on the ballot at all for you to vote. I think that's worth looking into and researching whether you believe that there needs term limits or not. So
We have it in
bringing
Yonkers.
But y'all got something weird though. Y'all got 2 in a row.
What do you mean by two
Well,
in a
this
row?
would
No, but what I believe is, unless I'm mistaken, you can only go 2 in a row. Then you can sit out one. Then you can come back.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Including
So
the
you gotta-
mayor. Including the mayor. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
This is just
AJ, hold on, because this is the same. It's essentially the same. It's 3.
Okay.
The proposal is 3 successive terms in a row,
Sit
and then
out.
the person would have to sit out. If they sat out, they could come back and they could run. You could.
Oh, I thought it was just 3
No, it
and
is
you
not.
dead.
Out like
It is 3 successive terms in a row.
and you back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh. Okay.
You know, but
So
the
how's
idea
it looking,
being that
though?
it's going to force some sort of turnover in,
That's what they looking.
yeah.
That's what they look. Yeah.
I mean, that is the logic behind it. There are many who have argued that, political interests harmful to the city have become deeply entrenched precisely because some of our elected representatives is serving very lengthy tenures. That is what I would.
Who's
I wanna-
proposing it?
It is being spearheaded by a group of citizens.
Right.
Oh, cool.
It's a citizen initiative essentially. So it's being spearheaded by a group of citizens, including Councilman Andre Wallace. But
ups.
it's a lot of people who are sympathetic to some of the battles that Councilman Wallace has fought since he entered into the office. Believe that this is an issue that should be put directly to the voters.
Right. Now, I don't know how many of y'all have.
Oh my God, Brenda put it up already.
She's
Holy
come on,
cow.
She's always on point.
The term.
Brenda, I need to meet you.
She's always on point.
The article, the
Yeah.
one I wrote.
They
Councilman Andre Wallace.
And LoHUD, on July 6th. And I was waiting for Damon to leave. It's an article about the Bronx DA. The Bronx DA is continuing to investigate Mount Vernon cops involved in the February shooting. So what evidently happened, 4 Mount Vernon police officers opened fire on a fleeing car in the Bronx. They crossed over to the Bronx, spraying bullets. This is the article from Jonathan Bandler. This is Jonathan Bandler's words from Low HUD. Spraying bullets into the wall near pedestrians, but all 4 officers were restored to full duty recently, even though the Bronx District Attorney's Office is still investigating the shooting.
Do they have jurisdiction over
officer-
the Mount Vernon?
No.
Well, no, but it happened in the Bronx.
It happened in the Bronx.
Oh,
So the Bronx DA impounded the cars and is investigating the shooting. The shooting took place. The officers, Detective Brent Gamble, who is the Mount Vernon Police Department PBA president, Anthony Burnett, officers Kareem Lloyd, and Billy, I will not try to pronounce that name, Exarhakos. Sounds Greek or something.
Billy E.
Billy E, there you go. And they were able to work overtime while on modified duty. Gamble and Burnett racking up a sufficient time during this period. According to payroll records, Gamble, as was the president of the police union, was paid 342 hours
Wow.
of overtime since the February shooting, an average of 19 hours a week. Burnett was paid 194 hours, just under 11 hours a week. There's 5 months since gone by since the shooting. With nearly a dozen bullets remain in the stucco wall of the building. It's
A medical health center?
yeah, you can read the whole article. It's in Low HUD. But I just wonder, we you know, I've met Detective Gamble.
Was Detective Gamble not on this show not too long ago?
Was
Is he's
Detective
the
Gamble-
PBA president?
Yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't.
He wasn't here?
when
John and
Corey?
no,
John.
that was
John
forgot,
Jones and-
Lieutenant.
Okay.
And Corey, that was the time of Corey.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Hey, did they get
No,
the
that
perp?
he wasn't here that day.
Okay.
No, I was here that day. He wasn't here that day.
So
I'm
so
almost sure that was him.
so and I don't think he's ever been on the show. I had met him back when the mayor, Richard Thomas, and former police officer Don Starchild Moore were fighting on Facebook one Saturday night. I'm in my house minding my business. I'm killing it. Like I'm on my 3rd or 4th game. And my phone kept beeping. Mayor Thomas just tagged you. Don Starchild Moore just tagged you. Mayor Thomas just tagged you. And they're going back and forth. So I called for, since they put me in it, I called for a meeting with the two of them to see if they could. They met that Monday afterwards to see if they can find a solution. And Brett Gamble was one of the people that was, as the head of the union, he was involved in part of the meeting, and I met him for the first time. I other than I've seen him a few times, I don't know him, good or bad. The other officers, and Brenda just posted the article up there, so y'all can read it, the Low HUD article. I just think this is something. Now, I didn't write about it because they say, we only write about the bad stuff in Mount Vernon, and, like we're trying to make Mount Vernon look bad, but this is news.
Did they kill somebody?
No one got killed, but an innocent person in the back seat got shot.
Oh, okay.
That wasn't the driver. They actually, allegedly, because I wasn't there and this part is not in the story, allegedly Gamble shot through his glass windshield, to a car he was chasing. You know what I'm saying?
Like in the movies.
I'm driving, yeah. So
While both vehicles were
moving.
moving?
Yeah, I'm
Just like in
driving,
the
I'm
movies.
chasing you,
See, I don't know the circumstances behind it. I'm just,
That's pretty
I'm
dangerous.
chasing you and I'm shooting at you.
oh, okay.
But I understand it wasn't from outside the window. It was like
Right.
through the windshield. And he ended up getting some glass. He got cut. Some glass hit him in the face or something. And he had a rookie in the car. So, you know, we have to do better. Like Damon said, you know, just because we have more blacks in power, you know, we got to check those that we gotta put light on the situations like these too.
But
I think it's important that we're putting light on the situation. I have to say that my view is that this rather dangerous, the use of these dangerous police tactics has direct approval, if you will, from the mayor. And I want to give an example of how the mayor's own comments about policing philosophy in the city of Mount Vernon serve to perpetuate the idea that police officers need to have a almost totally unregulated hand in combating crime.
Sounds familiar.
I don't know if any of y'all saw this today, but I was listening to the show earlier when you were getting into your when Damon was leading the discussion about so-called, I'll just call it retrograde mindset.
Man, his big
you know,
words. I'm gonna bring a dictionary next time.
in policing, right? And just
Yeah,
as
he used a lot of them big words.
Yeah.
He used them $100 words to pay for that education.
it had to be worth something, y'all.
got my dictionary.
It's the only payoff is when I
write
pull
them
out
down
a
so
big
I can find
dictionary
it
out there.
next time.
You know what I mean? Y'all will forgive me, but I also didn't want to use
The N-word.
Damon's words. Yeah,
Yeah, gotcha.
I you know, little reluctant. But in any case,
Negro peons.
yeah. So the mayor, earlier today, I was, you know, on Facebook while I was doing some work, and I saw a post from Mayor Richard Thomas, and I actually sent it to Black Westchester, and it says, it's a photo that the mayor ran on his Twitter account, and it says, "Dirtbag caught urinating in public. Be responsible, find a bathroom." And many of the comments that were posted by the mayor's followers were approving, including the comment of one Jamie Pessin,
Who's running for city council
who's running for city council.
in
And
Mount Vernon?
Dirtbag.
Dirtbag.
Wow.
And I was, you know, and so I read through the rest of the mayor's comments. I was surprised, though, and, you know, essentially my response is that apparently unbeknownst to the mayor and to his supporters, at least of that policy, is that this kind of vigorous enforcement of low-level quality of life crimes that don't do any substantive damage to the public is one of the real hallmarks of the so-called broken windows theory of policing. Now, anyone who knows about, who has looked at the forces that drove mass incarceration here in the United States and the ballooning of the prison population over the past 3 decades is well aware of the historical connection between mass incarceration and the embrace of these kind of policies by big city mayors. And so I was a little astounded because Mayor Thomas continuously postures in various fora as if he is a progressive. He has appeared on BET, at least on 2 occasions, as the kind of a spokesman of the new, younger generation of progressive leaders. And so I was somewhat astonished that the mayor would kind of mindlessly, in my judgment, parrot support for this kind of policy and use the rather disparaging description that he did of an African American.
Somebody called said a dirtbag. That's a bit much. It's
It
not appropriate. It's
is.
certainly not appropriate, but calling him that is not cool either.
And could you imagine what they'd say behind closed doors?
I mean, this is part of the
He
dehumanization
said
of African American men.
His response was to the guy, we have set a new standard for cleanliness in Mount Vernon. If we don't go after the low-level offenses, the culture won't change. Bottom line is, I don't see too much of this in White Plains parking lots or parks. And my expectation is for public places to be respected by all, even those who don't respect themselves. The city workforce is being held accountable. Ensure the stairways, parks, and public places are clean. And they will continue to feel a significant amount of pressure directly from top on down. The MTA did this when they fought graffiti on the subway cars in the 80s. We have the same task now to stop crime and grime all the
Right.
time by making examples of dirtbags one at a time.
So-
wait.
He
wait,
reiterated
wait.
So
dirtbags.
you know,
Dr.
so
Bob.
you could see where all this is.
So, Dr. Bob, you're saying the term dirtbag, that's what you having the problem with?
No, forget. No, what I'm saying is I have
No,
a problem.
I want clarity,
No,
because I'm not
no,
sure.
No, what I'm saying is that
Hold on.
this kind of policing practice is at the very core of.
He doesn't remember the 80s. He's too young to remember the 80s when they did this. He's 6?
Yeah.
He
I
was
bet you he
born in
peed
the
against a
80s.
tree once in
he
his
was-
life.
I'm trying to go backwards a little bit, but I'm like,
He doesn't seem to remember the 90s.
88 would be 87 would be 30 years.
So 81?
Yeah, so
Give or
yeah.
take. 80?
Yeah,
81?
so he might. So he
80.
he was born in the 80s. So there's no way he was 5 and he remembers the cleanup on the subway.
He doesn't.
All right, I got it.
It's
I'm-
this
I'm not trying to be- I'm
mythologized
not
view.
try- I'm not trying to be
of
funny.
conservative
but it's the
policing
same-
policies.
It's the same thing of Biggie talking about. He was robbing people at the club that was out when he was
Yeah,
12.
12 years
Like
old.
there was no way Biggie was at this club at 12 robbing people when it was open. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying.
The more apt comparison is the Giuliani's
I'm
administration
about to say.
to impose its kind of its version of broken broken windows policy by cracking down on these quality of life crimes that are known to have been a mere pretext to further investigate their targets and maybe even incarcerate them and do permanent lasting damage. So I really think the mayor has an obligation to revisit the history of the various policies that he is advocating, both their strengths and their weaknesses. And I'm astounded that the mayor could, without any kind of hesitation or concern, endorse this policy as if it is a desirable one.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No discussion of mass incarceration in the United States
I have a couple of things to say.
can
but I'm
be
waiting.
separated from the very policies that the mayor would seem to like to bring to Mount Vernon.
All right, so if you call a man taking a whiz on wherever he was outside a dirtbag, what do you call those 4 officers that I was just talking about? That could have very willingly taken many people's lives.
You call them heroes because
You
we're
call them overtime.
uncritical of the behavior of police officers.
and
That's what
Brenda,
you call them.
Brenda wants you to know, and all y'all who have asked, retrograde is an adjective. Directed or moving backwards, a retrograde flow.
Love you, Brenda.
backwards,
She's a
reverse.
robot, I'm telling you.
A degenerate person verb. And then there's more. When I read that, I couldn't help laughing. I was
no,
laughing.
sorry.
I knew he was laughing at that. I saw it too.
I was like, you gotta, shout out to Brenda L. Crump. who,
Brenda, we appreciate it.
You're a genius, my dear. You're a
and she's-
genius.
And she's posted the story for the Bronx DA that I was talking about, and actually a story we did where the Mount Vernon PBA president, and I'm glad she posted that. Months ago, before this, and it may have only been, I can't say for sure, because they were fighting for their raise. The Mount Vernon PBA president, Gamble, voiced no confidence in the department's leadership. And I was going to say that's part of the problem when we have situations like this, is because of a lack of or inadequate leadership. We do not have a police commissioner since Robert Bob Kelly was fired in April, I believe, the beginning of April 2016. Since then, we've had several deputy commissioners who have acted as acting. The one being Fatigate, who then left, and then now Sean, what's his last name? Sean Harris.
Yeah.
Sean Harris, the brother. But we do
And deputy
still,
commissioners.
we still right. Both of them are deputy commissioners, but they're acting police commissioner.
Oh.
But there is no police
Official.
commissioner.
Official.
You know,
Really?
right.
No
That's what I'm
official
saying.
police
Like,
commissioner.
I didn't.
didn't know
We had Robert Kelly on the show, and we were very critical of him in the beginning. Very critical. He answered all our questions. He talked about the implementation. You know, your leadership, and then further than that, it goes to City Hall. But your leadership is the one that sets the ground. I mean, he goes. I'm sure he has his superiors, which would be the mayor, would have some influence on things that he wants done. But the police commissioner would then set forth the policies, the practices, put them in practice, discipline those that don't do it. You understand what I'm saying? Like, put things in practice. When you don't have leadership, it's like a child that doesn't have parents. A child can't teach himself. You understand what I'm saying? A child with no supervision is going to eventually get in trouble and get into mischief and just do a whole bunch of things because ain't nobody watching him. You know what I'm saying? That same child under great supervision would be a good kid. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, as bad as
And he'll pee on a tree.
Huh?
And he just might pee on a tree. I'm just saying.
Let me say this, because I think the premise which underlies both the mayor's advocacy of this policy and the broader policy itself is that somehow it is the deviant behavior of poor people that is largely responsible for the crisis of our cities. And I would take the contrary view. If we need to search out dirt bags amongst us, we need to search for the dirt bags in the highest places. Because I'm going to tell you, crime and grime exists in Mount Vernon, and it has long existed in Mount Vernon, not because of problems, not only because of problems at the bottom, but because of problems at the top. The mayor is known. Let me say straightforwardly.
There goes Damon.
Straightforwardly. The mayor is consorting with a man, Joe Spezio, who has personally been found guilty.
Leave Lorraine's friend alone.
Oh, no, wait,
Has personally been found guilty by tribunals in the state of Louisiana for unethical and dishonest business practices. He personally was found guilty. His carting company, as we all know, was also found guilty of violating federal labor laws in pursuance of its objective to break the union and therefore take away the bargaining power and the safeguards that unions provide to working class people in the United States of America. Moreover, I understand that Mr. Spezio also has Local 813, which represents the union, in court in order to do away with their pension or their health care. So, actually, it's people like Joe Spezio, who was described in the court rulings as a vulture capitalist, who have diminished the quality of life here in the United States and brought about the stagnation of wages over the past 30 or 40 years. And if the working people of Mount Vernon, not these sort of well-heeled elites like Richard Thomas, who are well-connected with greedy vulture capitalists like Joe Spezio, if the working people of Mount Vernon want to see an improvement in their living conditions, they have to insist that Mayor Thomas not search out for dirtbags who are urinating on the streets of Mount Vernon, but rather for dirtbags who are looking to swindle money from the city coffers. Let me be clear. Joseph Spezio is he owns a private equity firm. They lend out large amounts of money, and I was reading an article in the New York Times not too long ago, and it said that one of the new strategies that have been developed by private equity firms in their quest to, accumulate more and more profit is to get into municipal services industries, to find ways, and there's a very lengthy discussion of the, subterfuge, the tricks that these private equity firms have gone to in order to tap in to the immense amount of monies that are controlled by municipalities all across the nation. And we well know Joseph Spezio has been doing this all across the country. We've already discussed the reports about his activities in Opelousas, Florida, or some Opelika, Florida,
Opelousas.
which really was one of many activities that really scandalized the town and almost brought the city's finances to bankruptcy. And Joe was throwing around a lot of money. And my fear is, and I think this fear is well placed, that Joseph Spezio has the intention to do precisely the same in the city of Mount Vernon, as a matter of fact, as he's done in municipalities across Westchester, where he has used a lot of tactics, apparently, to gain a competitive advantage over his, competition in the karting business. And we've heard reports very damning.
He has that was a company called Competition.
No.
Yeah.
And it should be probably called Eliminate Competition. Karting.
If he was found guilty, legally he can still be deputy commissioner?
This is one of the questions that, many of us has raised, because the city does have certain ethical standards for both employment in city government and also in order to
For
be eligible
appointments.
for
For an appointment?
for licenses. And
Oh.
and the issue that I've been raising, and some others have raised as well, is whether or not Joseph Spezio's personal conviction by the Louisiana courts ought to disqualify him from holding a karting permit in the city of Mount Vernon, since the Mount Vernon statutes say that any business that has been found guilty of, unethical and business practices is ineligible, should be ineligible.
But you said business, though, but he has several businesses.
Mm-hmm.
Was it this particular business that was named?
So,
Oh, I see what you're
right,
asking.
so I'm not sure which hauling operation, which company is licensed. Is it Competition that's licensed in the city of Mount Vernon?
No, RNS is in
RNS.
the city. Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Competition.
by
is-
that standard, then
Competition is Yorktown, I believe.
sure. Then, in my judgment, it's only my judgment, and people may be unpersuaded.
RNS also does
Because
the
RNS is
the Department of Corrections.
Oh, that's crazy, because RNS was found guilty. RNS was found guilty by a tribunal of the federal, the National Labor Relations Board for, how shall we put it, illegal, maybe not quite, for activities that have been banned by the federal government.
I'm moving a little forward. We coming to a short, but I'm moving. So if you, just for instance, and I don't know this, and anybody out there, please feel free to give me the information, call in, write in, whatever. So if, like you said, he was convicted of whatever, and then he gets the contract for, like, say, the Westchester County, the Department of Corrections. Who's that fall on? Astorino? Who's that fall on? Who's that? Who approves that? Like, where? Does the county legislators? Is the county executive?
Water contractors apply?
As y'all know, ultimately,
there's a solid waste commission, right? That's
Right,
what they have.
we do have a solid waste
You have a
commission.
solid waste commission that's run by that,
Right.
that same office that Yeah.
is responsible for monitoring all all garbage
And
hauling.
I think
businesses.
Astorino's assistant or aide is on the commission.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
I don't think
the
him and
buck stops
Astorino.
only stops with the executive officer.
But I'm just saying though. I mean, and I understand that, and Astorino has a race coming up, and he's a nice guy, but I think we could do better. But
I like Robert
Who, Astorino?
Yeah.
I mean, let's not forget, because you want me to tell you what? Well-heeled Americans make a concerted effort to point out any instance where a poor person has done something that's ethically questionable.
Yes.
So let's not skip over the fact that Robert Astorino's father,
yeah.
Robert Astorino Sr., if I'm not mistaken, so-called Lieutenant Astorino, was found guilty of a major kind of violations of, criminal law when him and Garcia and another detective,
Mount Vernon Police Department.
yeah, Mount Vernon Police, storied members of the Mount Vernon Police Department, by the way, who, for anyone who was hustling on the streets of the 90s, these figures were larger than life. And as it turned, and they had received congressional medals for the outstanding work that they had done in prosecuting America's war on drugs, only to be convicted before it was all over of themselves essentially stealing drug money from drug dealers.
Ooh,
It was like the Omar.
So-
it was the Omar of the Mount Vernon Police Department.
mafia style.
So,
I was just watching The Wire.
The Wire. That's a classic.
if when we actually look at the history of many of the figures who are part of the political establishment in Westchester County, we see
Spano.
that they have very close ties,
Well,
very close association with.
I wasn't even
the folks
going
who
back
are-
to his father. The one issue that I do have, and we had this conversation when Senator Latimer was here. The problem in bringing in a zero budget is you have when the cost of living goes up every year, is you have to start cutting things, and the cuts may not be limited to, but they always include Mount Vernon services that we need, like the probation office that we got closed, and several other things. That's the only way you can bring in a zero budget, because next year there's going to be some kind of cost of living. You understand what I'm saying? And if you don't increase the taxes, the only way you can keep it there, you had to cut some stuff. And
Right.
unfortunately, cities like Mount Vernon get the axe on a lot of these things. And Mount Vernon,
They're
even
trying to cut
even Ernie Davis used to say, some I don't know, some said it was an excuse or whatever, but Mount Vernon was a dumping ground, and there's no you send people who need certain helps to certain cities, but then you limit their resources to be able. They didn't have the resources to take care of the people they have, and you're sending more, and then you're cutting, and you're sending more, and then you're cutting, and then you're sending more, and then you're cutting, and then you wonder why there's crime and killing and gang activity and drugs and people get killed on Archer 3rd or in Mount Vernon now.
By the
You
way,
know what I'm
there's a
saying?
meeting. There's a meeting coming up at the library. They're trying to cut the at the Mount Vernon Library's.
The central
Yeah.
status.
Century.
I went to the, I
That's
went to the first-
$30,000 they're
I went
gonna
to the-
lose
I
and
went-
more.
I went to the first meeting that they had up in Elmsford at the actual office where that body, the library, it would be the equivalent of the legislators for the county
Okay.
or the city council for a city. This is the body that votes as far as the library systems of Westchester. I think it's called that, the Westchester Library Systems or something. So I went to their first meeting. It's a building in Elmsford, and they actually they didn't know. The word got out like a night or two before that they were going to vote on this. They weren't expecting Mount Vernon to show up. About 50 people from Mount Vernon showed up at least.
Awesome.
You know what I'm saying? Lyndon spoke. There was a councilman there.
Big
The
ups to
library
Lyndon
people
Williams.
showed up. Senator Ruth Hassel Thompson, who wasn't senator no more, showed up and spoke. I mean, everyone spoke about the importance of the library and the services that it blah blah blah, and it was they got pushed back. They ended up not voting that night, but I believe the vote is coming up sometime in August or September, where they're going to permanently vote on the central status of the Westchester Library System. Whether it
So
will
when
stay-
is that meeting?
I don't know when. Brenda, I'm sure you know.
It's this Thursday.
This week,
Yeah, there's
It's
another,
this week.
but that's at the Mount Vernon Library. That's not
That's
the.
what
Okay.
they posted.
That's not the actual vote in Elmsford. But I guess
But
they're
the
trying to
central, but the
they're trying
committee's
to-
going to be there.
But I think they're trying to bring awareness to what's going on because a lot of people in Mount Vernon don't know this, and I didn't know until they asked me as Black Westchester to come, and I videoed some of it, and and I got to give credit where credit is due. I don't always say this, but Jamie Pessin probably had one of the most profound and pointing comments that he made. Like he was one of the, talking about
And who is that?
growing up. The guy that we were talking about, running for city council. I don't always see eye to eye with him, but I give credit where credit is due. His is one of the
for
standout.
you.
His was one of the standout statements that speaking from a Mount Vernon resident who grew up and all the things that the library meant to him and why it was important. You couldn't. Everybody on that board felt his comments. You couldn't ignore his comments.
Oh, that's awesome.
You know what I'm saying?
Big
So,
ups, big
but
ups.
like I said, Senator Roof was there, and she hadn't planned on speaking, and she spoke. Brenda spoke. Several people. There was Kenny Plummer was there. And you know what I said? 50. It probably was way more than 50. It probably was. We filled that room. They had like 4 rows. They had their table, and they had like maybe 6 rows of chairs, and there might have been 10 deep. Yeah, there might have been 80 people there from Mount Vernon. I think they were scared to have that vote. But yeah, it's
We need
whatever
that.
they're doing in Mount Vernon on Thursday, y'all should go and y'all should find out what the status is and the library, giving credit where credit is due. Not saying it was in disarray, but under Oscar Dixon as president.
Oscar
And-
Davis.
Davis, yes. And God forbid me for giving this man a compliment. And I'm never going to hear the end of it. But as Oscar Davis, as president, has been very good, has got the Wi-Fi speed and everything up. There's been a lot of work done to enhance the library, to bring it up to par, to bring it up to date. And he's done a great job as president.
give credit where credit's due.
Again, I will never, ever hear the end of this from this gentleman. But I give credit where credit is due, though.
One more thing, you got the 5K race for education coming up next Saturday too at the Grace Baptist Church in Mount Vernon. Did
Okay.
you know about that?
Nope, but
Brenda?
Well, Brenda has every flyer. She will throw every flyer at you at the end of the show.
You can go on Latino Empowerment. I got all those flyers up as well.
Okay, cool. So, last comments, 30 seconds or less, Lorraine.
Oh. Well, it's good to be here. I just want to thank London Reyes for showing up. It was great
He said
talking
for
to
showing
him.
up. Wow.
Very
And-
sarcastic.
You know what? You probably won't hear the end of it for not showing up. I will say that though.
Who, him?
Yes.
Well, I hope not.
And
I hope
and
not. I hope he
I-
learns, and I hope he apologizes,
but
and he's welcome to
I-
come in to
I
come on.
expect-
I assume.
I expect a phone call from somebody in that camp personally.
You know, hopefully, that something came up and he's able to
Right, that's what
explain
I'm saying.
himself.
And
You
that's what
know,
I'm saying. I
and
expect a phone
and
call.
he,
I mean, things happen, so
you know.
I expect a phone call.
Well, things don't happen twice, though. Come
Well,
on now.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
So, continue.
Latino empowerment, everybody.
Dr. Bob.
It's a pleasure to be back.
Okay.
I'm sorry we didn't have an opportunity to discuss the significance of the ruling, judge's ruling
yes,
that granted
yes,
a
yes.
temporary injunction to the Thomas administration in its efforts to prevent the city council from taking measures that would defund positions of non-residents. Since I myself have been very
yeah.
closely associated with this position, I know people would have wanted me to offer up an explanation and, my views, which I would have been happy to do. One reason I'm here today is because I at least wanted to.
Sound like it would make a great editorial tomorrow in the Black Manchester. I'm just saying, just jot a few things down.
I would have to say big ups to Yonkers NAACP invited Westchester Correctional Association to the annual meeting. It was a beautiful event.
Love 'em.
Thank you, Yonkers NAACP.
Yonkers.
Yonkers NAACP for the invite. Also big ups to my wife Darlene. I love you.
Aww.
There you go. There you go. And yo, you know how people say, ain't nothing gonna stop me, ain't nothing gonna hold me. I don't care what, rain, sleet, or snow. Yo, this is what you call gangster grilling. It's a throwback picture.
Oh, I saw that. I saw. I got hungry when I saw
It was
that.
pouring, but we was like, we are not letting the rain spoil up. And I stood on that grill, and that food was good too.
That's a big umbrella too.
Yeah.
Big
That's
umbrella.
my cousin Roland Dixon.
Yeah.
Shout out to him. Yeah, that's what we call gangster grilling. You know what I'm saying? I just had to throw that guy just popped up on my screen. But that's about it. I mean, we covered a lot. There's a lot more we could cover. Black Westchester, the newspaper, August 2017. Get your ads in. Advertise with bw@gmail.com. Holla at your boy. All those people that say they support us, they love what we're doing, and this, that, and the other. This is a good time to show it. Everybody
Much
tuned in?
appreciated, folks.
Absolutely, because we can't do it without you. Real talk. Y'all, a lot of y'all said we need to go print. We making that move, but we can't do it without y'all.
Oh, let me also add, Black Westchester in Japan. My brothers they listened in Japan.
Nice.
Shout out.
Even
Right.
your man in Japan know who I am.
Black Westchester in Japan.
No doubt. And y'all heard last week my man called from San Diego.
I was just
You know
gonna
what I'm
say,
saying?
yeah.
Shout out to my boy.
We're international.
California in the house.
Shout out to Mike Holt and fire department number. What department is that? 3?
Station number 3.
Station 3. He said he was gonna be listening. So if they're listening, shout out to Mount Vernon Fire Department.
Yo, you got
Firehouse
lots
number
of
3.
folks listening.
No doubt. But and for all of y'all could be doing anything else right now, but you decide to ride with us, and we greatly appreciate it. This is Black Westchester Magazine presents People Before Politics Radio every Sunday 6 to 8 on InTheMixRadio.com. Until next week, peace.
22 million black victims of Americanism are waking up, and they're gaining a new political consciousness, becoming politically mature. And as they develop this political maturity, they're able to see the recent trends in these political elections. Any minority that has a block of votes that stick together is in a strategic position. Either way you go, that's who gets it. You're in a position to determine who go to the White House and who stay in the doghouse. You're the one who has that power. You and I have never seen democracy. All we've seen is hypocrisy. When we open our eyes today and look around America, we see America not through the eyes of someone who has enjoyed the fruits of Americanism. We see America through the eyes of someone who has been the victim of Americanism. We don't see any American dream. We've experienced only the American nightmare. We haven't benefited from America's democracy. We've only suffered from America's hypocrisy. And the generation that's coming up now can see it and are not afraid to say it. 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 And are not afraid to say it.
That's not nice. Brother got to do
But
better.
I'm kind of more pissed off on what he did to you guys.